1935, the Lions win the NFL championship. The Detroit Tigers take the World Series. The Red Wings bring home Lord Stanley's Cup. Joe Louis begins his rise to world domination. This transforms the Motor City into Detroit, City of Champions.
Ding, ding, ding. Ringing the bell.
What?
Coming out of the corner.
What? What do you want?
Coming out of the corner.
What do you want? I'm doing
Putting them up, putting them up, putting them
Oh,
up.
we're live?
Putting them up.
We're live?
Yeah,
Oh,
we are.
damn. That's why I got these headphones
We're
on.
always live, man.
That's why I got these headphones on. I didn't even realize what's going on. What's happening? What's going on, Jamie?
Oh, I'm good, Charles. It is Detroit City of Champions, the podcast. That guy over there is...
Big C, Charles Avison.
I'm Jamie Flanagan. Yeah, telling the story, 1935. All the different championships, and we are into the other champions. We're beyond the big 3, 4, 5, 6.
We're beyond.
Because there's big ones, and then there's just other. It's like, holy crap, that's amazing. Holy crap, that's amazing.
Everyone, yeah.
Every time we turn around, it's like, holy crap, this person's amazing.
That's what we're doing. We're in episode 97?
98.
98?
Yeah.
Episode 98 of a single. We're talking about a single season and all the sort of derivative elements of it.
I was just playing poker with my fraternity brothers, and I was like telling one guy, they're, oh, Jamie, I was listening to the podcast. You know, it's so cool. And another guy was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, you like the sports, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah. And again, sure enough, when did the Lions win their first championship? I started with the Tigers, and he's like, 1909? I'm like, no, And then, I went through the 35, 35, and then 30 other champions.
And they're probably like, what?
And they're like, holy crap, because I need to listen to that. I go, yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Yes.
And I go, and you can find like your niche if you're a Tiger guy. You can find the ones about the Tigers. You can, but
the thing about it is that
they all intertwine.
Exactly. And the thing that I love about it is that when I first heard about it, the only reason I heard about it was because I was looking up Tiger stuff.
Yeah.
But once you start seeing the other sports, like even if you're not necessarily a football fan or a hockey fan or even a speedboat racing fan or even or anything like a sprinting fan or a golfing fan, it doesn't. The stories are it's the history of sports is what we're talking about.
It really is, and there's so many things from this year
that tie into like the development of sports in America itself.
Of each and every one of these sports.
Exactly.
Either, the beginnings or innovations or it's truly amazing.
It's basically like the melting pot where all of these different sports, like in the early 1900s, they were, getting their rules in place, getting the kind of early stars gathered in this. But then in the 30s is when it all this is when you could really make a case that the birth of like modern sports,
hash marks and football,
all came together. Exactly.
Invented here.
Exactly. The league, the first Super Bowl like game as a result of that.
Arena football. Invented here.
Yeah, all of it. And then, just like the gallery in golf and all these things are tied up in this, like the idea of like a professional golfer making money as, legitimate money, being somebody that didn't have to sleep in a horse corral. These things were evolving at this exact time. That's what I'm saying. So anybody that,
heading out to Jobby Nooner or Raft Off or any of the crazy shenanigans out on the water, they owe like the water fanaticism. And the love of boats here in Metro Detroit to Gar Woods.
Exactly.
And Chris Kraft, who made his boats for him.
Yeah, and once you start hearing about this stuff, that's when you start to see just all the influences.
Is it Chris Brown or Chris Smith?
Chris Smith.
Chris Smith.
Yeah, and once you know about these influences, you start to see it in your daily life, like all these different like anybody that's heard us talk about Walter Hagen.
Yeah.
And you're a golf fan, like I dare you to watch golf in the same way ever again, because you're going to see when you see the gallery. The people that are watching him, you're like, oh, that started at, a result of World War I and all these different things. You're starting to learn about why things are the way that, I dare you to see a speedboat racing on the river after you heard our in-depth focus on Garwood and not even think of Garwood, like Garwood being like the first thought that comes to mind.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. So that's what I think is that for me, when I started this whole thing, I was a Tiger, Lion, and Red Wings fan at the time. Yep. But like Joe Louis, I didn't know anything about him. Yep. I knew nothing about Walter Hagen.
And then we got to meet his son.
Yeah,
and eat waffles with him.
And the thing about it is but all these other, but it's the stories. It's the idea of the foundation of sports in Detroit, in Michigan, and also in America. really all come together during this year. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think that's it's one of the teams drags you into the story, but once you're there, I think there's enough to keep you going for every subject,
For sure. But and we want to thank people who are joining us for all of these stories. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, do all those podcast things in the podcast places. Do that now. Just jump over, pause for a second, and then do the little like thing or subscribe to it. We're getting, like I said, it's 98. So careful. I love it. I was like, holy crap, we got a lot of downloads this week. There's a couple people download and they'll download like all the episodes.
Yeah, that's great.
People probably curse. I get mad at myself when I do that because it jams my phone up.
Yeah.
And I usually get mad. So apologies that we have so many episodes now.
Oh, you mean it automatically downloads everything?
If you don't set the settings, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it can download like all 100 episodes on people's. So I know I do that to myself all the time. And
I don't really
I
download
apologize.
anything. I just listen to it straight off the internet. Yeah. I don't know.
I subscribe to them so I can listen offline.
Oh, I got
Or if I got crappy signal or something, I can listen.
See, I got Verizon, so I don't got to worry about that. So Verizon's.
Verizon. I'm on a dial-up.
No. I bet Verizon. That was like the first. That was when I got my first like real cell phone. I was like, I got to have Verizon because I can't stand the waiting lag, and all the lag and all this. I'm like, what's the best service?
Kids today don't know anything about dial-up.
Oh man, I had that for a little while too, and I was like, man,
But is there some overlap today?
There is.
We're kind of recursive going back and
bit.
touching on somebody we just mentioned and somebody we have amazing adoration for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joe Louis, we're heading back into boxing a little bit.
Yeah. We're going to the Gold Glovers. There's similar to the police where there was, we had 5 different police champions. In this case, we have 4 different boxing champions because each of these 4 guys, each of these guys were winning their Gold Glove, amateur Gold Glove, national amateur Gold Glove championships. And, this is where they're at, so these are each one of these guys in their own rights, won their own weight class in Gold Glove boxing, so national championships. So,
all right. So does this count like,
so we're counting them as 4.
This counts 4 different ones?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, like I say, you can't. I mean, what do you count them as one because it was? I mean, there's 4 different athletes.
No, I was just curious.
Yeah,
I was just curious how it shook out. I don't have the book memorized.
Yeah. We'll get you a copy.
No, I got it. I got a copy. I just don't have it memorized yet.
Yeah, we'll get you.
I'm getting there.
You get it.
I think Chris has got it memorized.
Yeah, Chris has got it. I wouldn't doubt that.
Chris gave a little thumbs up. So did Christina. Says,
awesome.
Catherine,
my sister. Yep. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Chris.
So
we're we're talking about some again boxing action here. So the four boxers, Dave Clark, Al Netlau, Patsy Urso, and William McCorkindale. And so
this is Dave Clark 4.
Yeah, is that where you're going with that? Because we're changing gears.
It's a band, right? Okay. Dave Clark 5.
I didn't know. I'm not.
There's a band, Dave Clark 5.
Oh, okay.
All right, fair play. A couple years after this, but totally years. Probably a different dude.
Completely different.
Probably a different dude.
Totally different subject too.
Okay. You got the DJ over here. I got to go music.
That's fine.
All right, but so Dave Clark. Who else?
Dave Clark, just to kind of rattle off their achievements here. So Dave Clark, national AAU 160-pound middleweight champion. Al Netlau won the national AAU 126-pound lightweight. Patty Urso, the 112-pound flyweight, and William McCorkindale, the 112-pound junior national bantam flyweight.
Is that those guys?
So we've got a couple slides here.
Or the first slide first?
The first couple slides is fine. We got pictures of those are the best pictures I have of each. And so the Dave Clark one, I found nothing like this. That one's straight out of the book because he was one of the toughest guys to find an actual image of. But anyways, yeah. So and the picture there, which is kind of interesting, is this picture that is a 1934, the one with Al Netlau and Patsy Urso on it.
All right.
The other one you saw with Joe Louis on the picture.
Yep. All right. So if people are following along on Facebook or YouTube, you can see that. Otherwise, you can go to your copy of Detroit City of Champions and see these images, or take the time to pop on over and check out the video if you're listening to the audio podcast. But yeah, all right. So this image here.
So this
are these like there's like what 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Are these the 9 boxers that were involved in Gold
Gloves? Yeah.
And these are our 3 Detroit guys highlighted?
Exactly. I cropped those guys out and then overlaid them, and I lightened up the those. So the Joe Louis is just superimposed on himself. That's how he sits in the picture, and that's how the other 2 guys sit. I just brought them out from the background.
Sure.
And so this is the 19. This was kind of cool. You got the 1934 Gold Glove Championship. And then
are there 9 divisions in Golden Gloves?
I believe so. I got the list right here. Yeah, I think there's 9. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I think there's. I take that back. I think there's a couple guys in there that were like alternates that were like this, either like the secondary winners or some kind of like a toilet bowl thing or something where they won they won like a losers bracket or something.
Sure. But Patsy and Al and Joe won their divisions.
Yeah. And then they would follow that up the ensuing year, because Joe, of course, was doing his thing and to become a mass
after this.
That's right after this.
Pardon my French, a shit blew up.
Yeah. This is this was like the last after this. After he won the Gold Gloves in '34, that's when he went pro, and then everything changed for him.
Right.
And then these other 2 guys, they along with Dave Clark, they would come back in 1935 and win their Gold Gloves in 35 as well. So so even though that was a 34 picture, you can kind of envision those 2 guys as part of the 35.
Sure.
Which,
that was a nice shot. Where did that come from?
That one actually I just got off the internet. That one was that's kind of floating around on the internet.
Okay.
So that's where I got that one.
Didn't know if it was in your research and your travels.
No, that's
more recent research.
Yeah, it's just I mean, there's stuff that's coming online, which is
so that one's not in the book.
That one is not in the book.
Okay, so and that's the thing. It's like a lot of times when we're hitting on stuff here, that more discoveries have been made.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've discovered more things. Other people have discovered more things. Or as the searches, the internet is it's webbier and webbier all the time. We find more things, and
awesome.
I love getting to share those and pull those into the story.
Well, it's really cool for me, like some of the stuff we did with like the swimmer, like Dick Degener.
Yeah,
with him when there was actually footage of him jumping on, showing him dive. I'd never seen him dive.
Yeah.
I'd never seen him dive before, and then all of a sudden there's a YouTube video of
That's
him.
great.
I'm like, wow, all that. There's a bunch of stuff. There was. I don't think I'd ever seen the race with Eddie Tolan where the split second finish.
Right.
I'd seen all the photos. I had all the photos in the book, but I'd never actually seen the video footage.
Yeah.
That's on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to some of the next stuff that we see. It's like maybe we'll see the race with a zoo car in it or something. The horse race, the Santa Anita handicap or whatever. There's. That's what I mean. So like, it's stuff. Just people put it online, and I'm learning. It's a lot of stuff I'm learning along with everybody else.
We get to benefit from it.
Yeah. So anyway, so these are the guys. I'm going to read the article that kind of that summarizes what these guys were doing.
What they hit in 35?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is the article that kind of mentions them. That kind of talks about them all as a collective.
Where's it come from?
So it's the Detroit Times article.
Man, the Detroit Times was just
they're ahead of everybody
on it on the sports.
They were the sports. They were the sports king newspaper. The other Free Press and News, they had sports sections, of course.
Who's stronger with sports now, the Free Press or the News, or is it just?
I don't even subscribe.
Sports are so watered down, and the coverage is so.
They lost me some years back. Let's just say it. Like, I mean, it was. I think the final nail for me was when Brad Ausmus got fired from the Tigers, and it was after he got fired that they were talking about, we knew about all that. There's all kinds of dissension in the clubhouse, and there was all these issues with him, and they only reported on it after that he got fired, and instead of like while it was going on, like they like kind of like kept it like a little hidden secret from the fans because they didn't want to like rock the fan boat. It's like, dude, you're newspaper reporters. You're supposed to be bringing the story.
That's your job.
You only find out about it, and it's like you only find out. It's like
either you're bluffing and you didn't know crap, or you weren't servicing your people with
That's
information.
What I'm trying to say. Exactly. Yeah. And I've read, and there's in according to there's other examples too that like for instance there's a guy named
But I give him a little half of a credit because sometimes when you're on the inside, you get information that they're like you can't share this.
No, it's not. Then don't give them the info. Then don't seek the information if you can't report it. What's the difference? So you're going to tell me a hidden secret? I'm a newspaper reporter, but I'm not allowed to tell anybody. Well, then what's the point of sharing it with the newspaper guy?
Yeah.
What's the point? So they can provide a shield. And so another example is Bill LaJoy, who was the Tiger GM that built the '84 Tigers. Mm-hmm. And Bill LaJoy, I read his autobiography, and he talks about in there about just like about how basically his situation with the media and how like it was just it's a whole nother thing. But like, so for me, I don't really honestly the sports media. You have to. It's like you have to see it for yourself. You have to read between the lines and dredge information. It's just like politics, man. You can't just listen to the sort of mainstream rank and file and be like, "Oh, I trust everything they say." You got to get information from everywhere and cross reference everything to see, where the truth lies in the middle of that. All right. But so at the time, even the Detroit Times at this time, mm-hmm. When they talk about the Red Wings net, they're like, Red Wolves on the prowl, like they're hyping up these teams.
It was
to no end too. So
it was like,
they're not. I'm not trying to say like back in the 30s, everything was. They were, because they would shield all the athletes from any scandals too. They mm-hmm. They didn't muck up any stuff about their affairs or anything like this, like kind of like we do now. But back then it was like people's lives were semi-private, and they just so they would kind of hype up the events, and but they would have scathing critiques of the players if they weren't performing, mm-hmm. or if they needed to if there was something wrong with the teams or something. We just happened to get a bunch of cheerful articles in these particular subjects because they're winning 33 championships in the same year.
All right, but 34 for the Golden Gloves was Patsy and Al and Joe. In 35. It was William.
No, it was all 35.
All right.
Those three guys came back to win it again. That's what I'm saying.
So Patsy and Al came back again?
Yeah, I'm going to read the article that's got all four of them in
Dave
it.
Clark and William, how do you say William's last name?
McCorkadale. And that picture that we see on the screen,
I love that little the horizontal picture of him with the fist without the glove.
Yeah, does that picture look familiar at all?
Oh, is that on Champions?
It's on the City of Champions newspaper.
Oh, it's on the Champions
newspaper.
So
but if you put it up on screen and take a look, you'll see this guy blends with all the other things going on.
Yeah.
Poor William McCorkadale kind of hides out.
Oh,
you see him?
There he is. There he is, McCorkadale.
Willie's on the
all right.
That's what I'm saying. He's in between the Tigers and Joe Louis, in the vortex of the Tigers, Joe Louis, and the Red Wings.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets lost on that page because your eyes jumping all over the place, but he's there. He made the City of Champions newspaper.
Okay.
I love that picture.
Right on.
Yeah, so that's why I feature him. So when he's big as life on that one picture, you're like, this is a great shot.
It is a great
But
picture.
only like in isolation, because until you
I love this picture.
I know, it's a great shot.
That.
It's a great shot.
A great personality shot.
I know, but
I wish my kids could take pictures like that.
Yeah, but that's why I like to isolate those images, because you're like, that's a great shot, and you're like, well, you've seen it before. It's on that newspaper with 80 other people on there that are also great shots, because they're all great shots in that paper. It's like one of the greatest newspaper pictorials. Mm-hmm. I mean, argue against that's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, newspaper pictorial, certainly in the realm of sports. I mean, like ever made. I mean, look at the action. Look at the action in that page.
The depth of what's going on.
Like the linear element of the teams. I mean, every player is square jawed, square rows. Look at the Red Wings from this side. I mean, they look like soldiers, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, then you've got rifles and boats zipping by, and you got everything. Joe Louis taking off his camel skin friggin' jacket, ready to box. This paper's got everything, man. And so like I said, Willie McCorkadale is just kind of going, I'm ready to knock out somebody too, man. My little flyweight bantam class, I'll knock somebody out too.
But the Times did the better reporting on sport.
Absolutely.
Generally speaking, and they covered it.
No, specifically speaking, you're 100% accurate.
They really did the best job on covering the sports and bringing these stories 100%. To life. And just the vivid writing. And sometimes, a little beyond...
they took liberties.
It's like you gotta. It's like growing up in Detroit. It was CKLW was the big radio station, AM 800, and it was 2020 news. They would at 20 past the hour, 22 the hour. They would do news, and they would rock and roll up their news reports. Because it was Canadian radio, and they had this content they had to do. The news, so much news in public information in an hour. And so they would rock and roll their reports up. And
well, that's how the Times loved it. The Times loved the color. Yeah,
and that probably goes back to them being influenced by the Times.
Yeah, and one of my favorite articles that they ever did, I put it in my first book in the appendix.
Yeah,
and what it was they did a breakdown of the logistics of how like a fight was being, like when Joe Louis was fighting in a fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
How they got the minute by minute back to Detroit,
right,
and set it into type. And so like literally the minute that the fight was over, that they were having extra edition newspapers. Exactly. Extra. They had the extra edition newspapers on the street like 5 minutes after the fight was ended.
Right.
And they did a breakdown of how the mechanics that went into doing that.
Wow.
And that was the Detroit Times. They're like, it's the article in the first book at the appendix. It's called Birth of a Fight Extra. Maybe we'll do a little segment on that.
Sure.
But it's called The Birth of a Fight Extra, and it talks about like there's a guy like, and it's interesting because there's a guy that's like sitting there like ready to push the button to print the newspaper. Like, no, wait. There's one more thing we got to put in. The guy's going. His whole job is like to hit the button, and they're like, no, wait, we got one more thing. See,
now if you're Mitch Albom, you can just write it ahead of time.
There you go. Damn, we're going after the newspapers hard today, Jamie.
Too soon, Mitch?
No, I don't think it's too soon at all. But we're going after the newspapers today, man.
Oh. I worked with Mitch. It's all right.
So you can.
Not anymore.
So you can say whatever you want, man.
I got pictures of Mitch that it's like some staff meetings. We had staff meetings like online during COVID, and he looked like El Pacino. And I was sitting there the whole time during the staff meeting going, oh, just like, he was just killing me with some facial crazy business going on. Anyhow, all right, the Times though.
But yeah, so
brilliant writing.
Yeah, so this is
and talking about these boxers here in 35.
And they went, like I say, for the City of Champions thing, they went all out for their reporting. They covered it like every day. It was City of Champions this, City of Champions that. It was them that hosted the party at the Masonic Temple. It was them that organized. It was them that organized the governor in the city council to declare Champions Day. They were the ones that did the legwork for all of that. So when you read the Free Press and News at the time,
yeah,
man, it's like so less colorful, dude. There's like only like little kind of stock images. It's like way huge columns that really are just like that's kind of more just describing what happened. It's not really nowhere near as much flavor as the Times. The Times, like, if I lived back then, I guarantee you I'd have been a Times subscriber.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
Yeah. Like, hell, writer.
Yeah. So anyway, and it really, again, I've said it before, it was the Times. When I got to start reading the Times archives, that's when this whole thing opened up. Not when I was doing doing the original thesis at Western. I was using the Free Press and News. It's all the only newspapers I knew about, and that's why I was like, it was fairly just ho-hum, like fact-driven, whereas this one's got way more color. So anyway, so this is, we're going to read real quick. This is a fairly short segment about these AAU boxing champions. It's going to actually introduce another guy who we've talked about before, too.
All right.
So this article was written by Vic Packman, and it was Detroit Times, we mentioned, April 14th, 1935. And so it begins, when Al Netlow and Dave Clark brought home national amateur boxing titles Saturday night, it marked the second successful invasion of Detroit boxers in the history of national competition. Detroit has been sending full teams to national tourneys for many years, but has never known a winner until last year. It marked a banner trip for Detroit. All told, Detroit has a total of 5 titles, 3 of them coming last year when Joe Louis, then a light heavy, Stan Evans, then a heavyweight, and Ed Whaling, featherweight, won titles. It was the best showing of any city, and it gave Detroit the national team crown. Friday night in St. Louis, Netlow won the featherweight championship, and Clark grabbed the middleweight crown. A bad decision against Stan Evans, now 175-pounder, i.e. light heavyweight, in the semifinals cost Detroit its second consecutive team crown. However, Detroit divided the title with Cleveland, each city taking 2 individual championships. The decision against Evans enabled Cleveland to tie Detroit for the team title. Joe Bauer, Cleveland light heavy, who got the nod over Evans, went on to knock out a clown in the finals. That's not a great way to describe their opponent, but anyway, so they kind of cut through there, and so anyways, they so one of the guy that they mention in here, which is another slide we have up, is Stanley Evans, and he has made it. We talked about him when we were talking about Joe Louis. They mentioned him in here more specifically. I'll kind of cover real quick what he said there. A bad decision against Evans, now 175-pounder, i.e. a light heavyweight, in the semifinals cost Detroit its second consecutive team crown. So they're talking about Stanley Evans was there too in that 35 Gold Glove championship. And so the thing with Stanley Evans is that in 1933, Stanley Evans had beaten Joe Louis. In 1933, Stanley Evans was viewed as the guy. Like it was him and Joe Louis were the top two. These are the top two, fighters. They're both light heavies. Joe Louis came up as a light heavyweight, and they were both the these are the top two boxers in Detroit. These are the guys they all looked up to, and Stanley Evans had beaten Joe Louis. And so that was the thing, was in the screenplay for the movie. Mm-hmm. In the screenplay for the movie, I wrote Stanley Evans is a major character in there for the sort of the beginning of the Joe Louis section, because Joe originally, the way that the movie kind of opens up with Joe Louis is that his first obstacle to overcome is Stanley Evans. He has to get past Stanley Evans if he wants to do anything. I mean, Stanley Evans, if he wants to be the best, in outside of Detroit, he's got to be the best inside of Detroit. And Stanley Evans had just beat him, right? So Stanley Evans really represents the first obstacle in Joe Louis's career. Okay, was that he had to overcome Stanley Evans. So even though he didn't win in 35, it's still he won in 34. And Stanley Evans is always, anytime there's ever a chance to mention him, he's certainly worth the. It's good to mention him because he's a important component of the Joe Louis story, and also just boxing in Detroit. So that's our buddy. We like Stanley Evans, and I can't wait because that's a major arc for the Joe Louis segment at the beginning, is him having to overcome Stanley Evans, and then from there he's like, if I can beat Stanley, I can go and beat anybody now, because Stanley's a beast.
Man.
So these are our guys, and the William McCorkadale I met, I just online. I didn't meet him in person or anything, but I got the second photo was sent to me by one of his family.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is the only place you'll ever see that. And so,
this one down here,
it's
the
a
vertical
cool shot,
black and white shot.
Yeah, it's a cool shot too.
Oh, all right. Well, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so McCorkadale, he fought at the he trained at the Brewster Recreation Center as well.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So all these guys came up through that spot, So yeah. So anyways, that's our group, and then there's one more thing I want to kind of talk about here. For this episode. There
was something you found on eBay or something.
Yeah, this is like when I was just doing this whole, my little research thing before coming to the show tonight. This is like this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. I'm telling you right now.
Bring it up?
Yeah, bring it up. This is like.
So again, if you're watching,
I'm super.
If you're listening to the audio podcast, again, something else to check out the video on Facebook.
We'll tell them
YouTube.
how to find this. You can see it. This is actually on eBay. Yeah, this is on eBay.
I was like, "What? Why are you sending me stuff in reverse?"
I know.
Did you like take a picture with your phone and it was like in selfie mode or something?
Yeah, dude, this is the greatest. This is like the greatest thing of all time.
So what is this, Charles?
So anyways, when I was, and we talked about this before too, I think Chris found something or other along these lines. I think he found an original or something. Mm-hmm. But anyways, one of the things that I read about when I was, because of these guys, Joe, the guy he mentions in the article, like up until the last couple of years, Detroit hasn't really been sending any boxers in kind of international or national fame. But now boxing is becoming this, the thing in Detroit, especially after Joe Louis. Boxing is just the biggest thing in town. I mean, it's huge. Everybody, like, there's this great article where they say, you drive down the street and you see all these little kids trying to punch each other and box, like shadow boxing and, bare knuckle boxing each other. They all want to be the next Joe Louis. They're like, Joe Louis just created this fascination with boxing in Detroit. And so boxing was getting huge. So, one of the things that sort of came out of it, again, the Detroit Times always like to, one of the things the Detroit Times did was they didn't just like cover the events. They created them too. So of course the City of Champions party is a perfect example.
Yeah.
But perhaps even an even bigger example is the Detroit Times Diamond Belt Buckle championship.
Diamond belt buckle champion.
We talked about this.
Is this the rodeo?
We talked about this. We talked about this before in the Joe Louis segment.
Yeah.
So the diamond belt buckle was basically like Detroit's version of the gold gloves, but it was run by the Detroit Times.
Uh-huh.
And so I think the gold gloves was run by the Chicago Tribune. I think that's who put that like a different newspaper put that out. So Detroit Times was doing their own thing. And so when the diamond belt buckle championships came up, it was like the Free Press and News aren't going to go cover that. It's that, because the Times is the one putting it on. So they're the only ones with coverage of that in the city. So that's the kind of stuff the Detroit Times used to do. Anyways, like when I was doing all the research for this, you'd come across them mentioning like, oh, the Detroit Times diamond belt buckle, like the results of this week's winners, the next week's winners. And so what it was just a scrum. They would have like 1,000 kids come in, and then it was like the first day was like you'd see like 100 fights or 200 fights or something. Jeez. There was sort of venues across the city, and then it would just converge towards the final winners. And then the winners of each class would get, it was called the diamond belt buckle, right? So you didn't win a gold glove.
No.
You won the diamond belt buckle.
Diamond belt buckle.
So imagine, like, we talked about this before. I feel like I'm kind of rehashing some of the fun we had the last time we talked about it. But nevertheless, there's sort of still a certain value to nostalgia, right? So we'll cover it again. So, like, imagine you're one of these kids and you're walking, you're going to school or whatever, and you got yourself the diamond belt buckle from winning it. Yeah. You are the coolest kid in town, right? Like you're like, oh, Johnny won the diamond belt buckle. I'm going to date on him. I'm going on a date with him.
Yeah.
So these guys are walking around, just rocking. It's got a little. So anyways, we talked about this in a previous episode. And Chris found something. I think he found an original. I think that's what he found. But what this is, what I found, anyway, anytime I'm talking about boxing Detroit, I always have just do a periodic look for a diamond belt buckle on the internet to see if I can find something. And on eBay is listed, okay? I don't even know if I got to calm down and be able to say this because I'm too excited about this. So this is the headline for the auction, okay? So 1930s UAA boxing diamond belt buckle Detroit Times mold die anvil tool.
Jeez.
So what this is the die that stamped out the diamond belt buckles themselves.
Right.
So you pour the metal onto this thing, and it's probably hardened metal.
Or it was like and
then you smash the hammer on the back and stamp that metal with the belt buckle image, dude.
Right.
So
and
the reason why
it's it, however they do,
and there's a hole in the middle of it where you stick the diamond.
Jeez,
it's actually got the hole in the middle of it that you actually pop the diamond into it. They probably heat it up a little bit, and then while it's still cooling down, they set the diamond so when it cools, it like the diamond's locked into it. But this is the mold. If you look at it, he's not wrong when he says anvil. This thing looks like it's a solid. I mean, it's like iron, man. This thing, I put it on there, it's like the size of a shoebox made of iron. So, I mean, this thing is ready-made for you to put whatever metal on you want for this thing and just one solid sledgehammer back to stamp it. Like, this thing is serious, man. And so the price on this thing, it was going for $450.
And this is just the die for it.
This is the die. So so this is the stamp that all these things were made off of. I can't imagine there'd be more than one. I mean, what are you gonna have 10 of these things? No, they have one and they stamp out the Diamond Belt Buckle awards, man.
Yeah.
So anyways, this was the die that made the belt buckles. And so anyway, the price of this thing, it's on eBay again, right? I shouldn't even be telling anybody about this. I should just leave it because now somebody's going to go buy it, man.
You got to go and snake in on the dive in on the last minute of the auction.
It's not auction. It's just buy it now. And there's a best offer on it too. But anyway, so it was selling for $450. And it must, obviously it probably doesn't get a ton of press. Nobody really knows what it is. Of course, the whole City of Champions has been forgotten. So they probably don't get a ton of, looks, but so we knocked the price down from $450 down to $337.50, $112.50 of 25% off from the original listing. And it's got a best offer. Like you can best offer accepted. So you probably get this thing for $300.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be telling anybody.
It looks like
about
it changes
this.
every year.
I made a mistake even bringing this on. I don't want anybody to get it.
It looks like it changes every year.
What does?
The belt, the buckle.
Oh, does it? You see a design thing?
Yeah, I see one for 38 that's different and one for 39
Oh,
that's
really?
different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you see.
And it's not the die, it's the buckles for sale.
Well, if you look at the die, though, there's no date on it. So maybe
I mean they're different. They're different configurations.
the different die, the different design on the die. Mm-hmm. Where are you seeing this at?
On the
images?
On the interweb, just different places.
Okay, well,
Worth
this is
points,
one of the years. Then it's still the coolest thing ever.
Live auctioneers.
Let me see. Flip that thing around. I want to see a picture here.
I'm all plugged in here.
God damn it, Jamie.
So I'll bring it up on the. I'll share my screen. Oh, I'm not in the.
I want to know what year this one was. Then I want to see what year, because there's no year on this.
Right.
And I did flip it around. If you reverse the image if you do like a screenshot and reverse the image, you can see it like what it looks like in its reverse form.
Yeah.
But dude, this thing, saw this. I'm like, I cannot believe you can buy the original die. Like, what that means is you can actually recreate diamond belt buckles, dude.
With this, you could. That would be like crazy.
Yes, dude. And what you could do. That's what I was thinking about actually, because like I'm all into coins and that, right? I'm buying bullion, gold and silver bullion, and all this.
Yeah.
Dude, you could stamp out. You could stamp out your own. We could, like, for our show, we could get this die and stamp out, like, whatever, copper or silver, and like give these away as prizes, man. Come on, Jamie, live a little bit. We can give out some
budget
silver.
Do you have?
No, I can't give you. Not right now. We can do copper right now. I got a lot of copper. I collect copper.
Melt down some copper.
Yeah, we can start out with copper.
All right.
And then once we got like a bunch of viewers and all kinds of money coming in, then we could send out silver belt buckles, man. And we'd send them out as belt buckles too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It would have to. It would have to be.
It would have to be a belt buckle,
without a doubt.
Man. Right. Don't tell me that this dude, to get a belt buckle from this show stamped with our own die, that's like the greatest podcast gift ever given on any show.
All right, there's 39. 38 wouldn't come up.
Oh.
So
that's not the same one as this one.
No, it's different. Yeah. So 39, it's
Where's the diamond on it though?
It's just the diamond belt. That's just the name of it.
No, this one's got a hole for the stud, dude.
They may not be diamond encrusted.
This one has the groove in the maybe it's at the bottom. Look at the bottom slot.
There's a 1 there for how many. It says bouts 1 and then.
See, this has got the slot, the hole right in the dead center for the diamond. It actually says on there, Diamond Belt Championship. Right. What does that one say on it?
It says Diamond Belt Championship, 1939.
Yeah, okay, well, except I'm just saying, if I was to win the Diamond Belt Championship and get that belt buckle, I'd be like, well, where's the diamond?
Yeah.
Get screwed here, man.
Hey, man.
Where's my diamond at? They're like, oh, that's just that's what we call it. I'd be like, man, what's the thing made of? And they're like, copper. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Yeah, at least go splurge a little bit and get some brass.
Yeah.
Make it upgrade a little bit. Where's the diamond?
Yeah, man.
This one here, the one I have, I'm telling you, look at the dead center. There's a reverse hole. Right? There's a punch.
Yeah.
So that because it's in reverse, so if you punch that thing out, when it's going to have a groove where you set a diamond into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how big of a diamond they can afford to put in
there.
There's
a gold encrusted one. That one looks like it has a diamond in the middle.
Yeah, there you go. See, that's got the diamond.
But that's different too. That's different than the one.
Yeah, it is, but that's got the diamond.
All right, that one, 30. After 38, they got cheap and they didn't put diamonds in.
Yeah,
it
but
anymore.
this one, the one I've got right here for this die, this has got that Detroit Times banner. Does that one have it on there?
Yeah, it says
that vintage Detroit Times banner is awesome. With the eagle in the center.
Tournament. It's hard to see.
That is awesome. How did I not find these in my searches? I looked up the searches. I didn't see any pictures for these online.
So these are like Worth Point and stuff like that.
I got to upgrade my Google sorting skills.
So
my Google sorting skills ain't so good, I guess.
Yeah,
but dude, those are awesome. I mean, dude,
those are neat.
But this is the original die.
Yeah.
We could make our own diamond belt buckles, man, to give away. Well, it's prizes for the show.
All right. They might be out of plastic. Well, do them with the 3D mold printer.
Dude,
we'll 3D mold print into them.
Dude, we lay some copper over it and smash it with a sledgehammer to get that thing. It's got the edges of it are all sharp too.
That's all you.
So it
do you have a
cuts
smelting?
around the edge.
Do you have a smelting system set up in your apartment?
You don't need. I don't know, not really.
Melt the stuff down to pour into there.
No, I don't. But
you're like making Thor's hammer in your backyard.
No, I have nothing like that. And I live in Detroit, the city, so I don't really have.
You could probably get away with it.
No, I don't think so. I'd have to do it out in the country somewhere and find some. But man, that thing is awesome, dude. Like I want that thing, but it's like, man, $300. But still, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get that because that thing is
a very unique item, and it says Detroit on it. It says Detroit Times on it. So it's a very Detroit piece. Very tied into this. Does it say what year it's from? Does it identify?
Oh, there's no year. Oh,
okay.
And the thing, it just says 1930s.
Okay. Because 38 and 39 were different.
Yeah.
So there's a chance that it was 35.
There's a chance that this is a 35.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There is. Yeah. If this is 35, that's going to be dude, that makes it even 1,000 times more cool, man. Even if it's 36.
Right.
Because it could be, like it's 35, 36, or even 34 if it's any of those years.
Because then that would be the one Joe won.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, Joe, I don't think Joe didn't win the diamond belt. No, but these
he won the gold glove.
But the diamond thing was, just the fact that it's in all the papers and whatever. But I love this one, man.
Yeah.
Even the ones you showed on the screen, I like the die for this one more than I like those. Like this one here is sweet, man.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, could you imagine if we're giving those things away as price? And right now we make some copper ones.
Yeah.
Because it's brass,
and we could gold
copper.
plate them later.
No, later on as the show gets bigger and bigger, and we start getting like tons of viewers and all kinds of advertisers in that.
Yeah.
Then we can upgrade to silver and gold.
Be selling those on the Gold Exchange infomercials.
Man, but we could upgrade to like a silver belt buckle.
Protect your money. Buy gold. We'll send you this commemorative
diamond belt buckle,
gold encrusted. Tuck it under your pillow.
You're trying to, dude. I have a dream on this, Jamie.
I know you do.
I have a vision for this.
I'm
thing.
in. Get us there.
We get a silver belt buckle that we're giving away giving away to the show, dude, to viewers. Dude, anybody that's listening, write in right now and tell me if you would like that if you would accept that as a prize for being like a fan of the show.
There you go.
like the show if you want to if you think it's a good idea to do.
And one day, maybe.
Jamie doesn't sound convinced, so she'll thumbs up the video to convince Jamie. Every 5 thumbs up, so it's going to make Jamie more interested in doing it.
Yep.
Man. Right. So, anyways, I had to show that.
I love that,
man. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get that thing because it is, dude. That thing is freaking cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, yeah. So I couldn't believe I saw that, and it's like the most perfect thing. I'm like, man. $300 for that. I'm like, and this is the thing is because you could probably get it for $300. He already marked the price down to $337.50. I don't think he's going to haggle over $37.
Right.
I don't know. He's had it long enough to knock 25% off of it. He's probably wanting to get rid of it at this point. I'll take it off his hands.
Oh, mercy sakes.
Dude, I think I'd probably be the coolest person I know if I actually stamped out my own. If I stamped out belt buckles for this show.
Telling you.
Would my prestige be raised in your eyes, Jamie?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, dude, I would be raising my own eyes. I'd boost my own prestige the way I see myself if I actually made my own belt buckles. So, anyways, yeah, yeah, dude, that's so we had to feature on the show.
All right, cool. So, that takes us through champions number what through what?
Sorry, busy looking at the belt.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Champions. These guys were champions number what through what?
So these were the way I numbered them was these guys are 14 through 17.
Okay.
Plus the 4. So we had Tigers, Lions, Red Wings, and the Olympics. So that's 4.
Mm-hmm,
plus this. So this takes us through 21 now.
Okay.
So 12 more to go. All
right.
The other champions.
Love it.
And then the extra one that Chris found, the one I didn't even make the book. Chris found another one, and he presented some legit. Factually based evidence to show that there was an actual. We're talking 34 champions now. We might have the grand reveal of a 34th champion.
All right, there you go. I have to add another star to the logo.
Yeah, so maybe we'll
got to reprint that hockey jersey.
I know. Then we have to redo everything. Has to change. That's the thing. Well, that's the thing about history is once history doesn't change, it's our perception and our understanding of it.
So whoever won the war gets to rewrite
it. And it's not some inconsequential like some kind of a homing pigeon, champion or something. Which actually, if there was they actually mentioned a homing pigeon. I'd be all
about the homing pigeon.
Yeah, I would include that for sure. But there's actually a segment where he mocks it, where he's like, we heard about some guy 2 counties over that had a homing pigeon, the world champion homing pigeon. He's like, we can't include everything. That's what he was saying in the article. I'm pretty sure it was Bob Murphy or Bud Shaver saying that. And but I'm like, dude, why not?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I'd love this homing pigeon
World
championship.
champion homing pigeon.
You include the darn horse.
Yeah.
Bring the birds in.
Yeah, dude. I want the homing pigeon championship. Because when we use the scenario, what we talk about, where we build off it and say, who are you going to bring against the Tigers? Who are you going to bring against the Lions? Joe Louis, all these guys. You get all the way to the end, and you're like, now, who are you going to get to beat our homing pigeon champion?
Our homing pigeon champion.
Even if somebody ever gets to that point, you're like, You know what? I had you tied on every other thing, but once we got to the homing pigeons,
that was it. That was the nemesis.
It was the one straw that I could not match.
That's it. All right, so there you go. You got to like and subscribe and leave a comment, please. Appreciate it.
And don't get that. I want to. And anybody listen, I want to get that belt, that tie. Don't get it. I want to buy it at some point. I can't get it right now, but I will get it. So don't buy it. It's my thing. Unless you're gonna buy it and give it to me, that's fine. But
yeah.
Or you're gonna buy it and stamp out the dies. That would be fine too.
Sure. For sure.
And then you also leave it to me in your will or whatever too, the die or something. But it's just like the coolest thing. I can't even believe I'm like, holy crap, dude, it's the die.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, lots more to come. Closing in on episode 100. And
man, we're getting close.
It's going to be 99 bottles of beer on the wall.
Next episode,
we should have saved
99.
Stroh's beer team for 99 bottles of beer on the wall.
No, just to celebrate with a beer or whatever. But yeah. That too, but we don't really need a reason for that.
Yeah, no, it pretty much happens every episode.
Yeah.
So, all right, all the podcast things and all the podcast places, we appreciate you being here. We're going to do it again very, very soon. It is Detroit, City of Champions.